And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
So far, Greg Lamb from Paradise Games has put out some abstract games, one game with chopsticks. This is the first of his games that really has a theme, although I suppose his marble game has a theme of rolling marbles. But this one is different than the rest, at least how much it feels. Restaurant Row is a game in which when you open the box, you actually get something. The board actually looks like a menu to a restaurant, but it's actually the board. And one side is used for 2 players, the other side is used for more than that. And the components are pretty much handmade, and I tell you, man, after having played this game, oh how I wish I could see it with some really nice components, because it has some really neat ideas and it's a lot of fun. The only thing that would bring it down is just the component quality, because it is homemade, but it is a nice idea. It's a theme that I don't see enough of, the restaurant theme, one that people can relate to. Let me show you a bit of the game. Here's the board, and you can see several sections. Each player takes one part of the board where you'll see their restaurant, showing how many tables they have, different food, and different things that they can do. If you take a whiteboard marker, you're able to write on this board, and then it will be erasable later on. Most people probably don't use their fingers to erase it, but as the game progresses, it takes place in a number of turns. In the first turn, players will come here, which is basically a large store, and they will auction, or not auction, but they will pick which of these places they will go to. See, the game uses dice, but these dice aren't used as much for rolling purposes. Occasionally they are, but as a way to bid. You just hide the number that you're bidding on the die. It's a nice way to bid. And then players will go to different stores. They can hire people. For example, here you can hire a consultant to come work at your place, but you can hire all different folks. There's the celebrity chef and a marketeer, and each one of these gives your restaurant a value, and they also give you a special ability. Then there are renovations that you can make to the restaurant. As you can see here, we got a dance floor, walk-in freezer, valet parking, new furniture. Some just provide ambience, like the new furniture gives you a 4 value for ambience. Others, though, will give you extra special abilities and a bit of ambience. And then players can also go to the bank and take out money, loans, and then they can go over to here to 3 different markets, and at these markets we'll be placing food tokens. There's different food tokens in the game. There's meat and seafood, the fish market, the meat market, and the vegetable market, and each of these has different food, which has a number of forks on it to show the value of that food. And you can buy these, and players have a certain amount of actions that they take on their turn. And then, once they buy the people, once they buy the renovations, and they buy their food, then everyone goes to the restaurant, and they're going to decide a few things. Based on the star rating of their restaurant, they're going to determine their price. See here, you pick what price you're going to sell things for in your restaurant, and it can be your star rating plus 1. So if you're a 2-star rating, the most you can sell your food for is $9. While if you are a 5-star restaurant, you can sell it for $15. Now you don't have to. You pick what the price is you're going to set for your restaurant. You pick what you're going to do. And then the main feature of the game begins. And that takes this bag here. And with this bag, you're going to pull out a customer. And every customer will go to one of these restaurants of the players who are playing the game based on their preferences. So for example, this is Larry. He's a local, and he goes to the place with the best service. So he'll look at the people that people have hired, and whoever has the highest number, he'll go there. If that's not the case, well then he'll go to the cheapest place, or I'm sorry, to the place with the cheapest place, and then after that he'll go to the place with the highest quality of food. So if he comes to my restaurant, he'll sit at one of my tables. You only have so many tables to serve people, so once your restaurant's filled, so be it. And then that's the way it is for each person. There's different kinds of people in the bag. Here's a foodie. They care about the food quality, and this lady specifically cares about fish. There are cheapskates who will go to the cheapest restaurant, so you might get more people if your prices are cheaper than everyone else. And there are the high snobs who go to the place with the best ambience. And then there's the critic who will show up, and when he comes to one of the restaurants, and he shows up every time, he's not random, he will always be one of the customers, he can change the star value of your restaurant based on whatever he's looking for at that point in time. The whole game comes down here to this bottom row. If you notice here, there is, at the end of the game, we're going to check these 6 spaces here, and whoever has the best value in each of those will get points. For example, here whoever has the most food is going to get 10 points, the best food. Whoever has the most profit is going to get 7 points. And that will go on, but as your restaurants go in the course of the game, you're going to have the opportunity to change some of these places. Maybe popularity will go up, maybe ambience will go up. And so you're trying to get people to come to your restaurant, because the more people who come to your restaurant, the more influence you'll have on this word of mouth here at the end, and that's what scores you the points. It's a very simple game. The rules, there's a decent amount of rules, but everything makes sense according to the theme. This game gets 2 thumbs up from me. The critic here says this restaurant's good to eat at. The only thing my caveat is I wish that there was, I just wish it had better production values. I mean, I don't blame them for not. Greg is just putting these out on his own, but I would think it neat if a bigger company would look at this and pick it up and produce it. I mean, they have a listing of all the different special people, what they do, and all the different renovations that you can have, and it looks like a little menu for each restaurant. And when we played the game, we had this whole, one guy with the ambience pretended to be the snobby chef, and the guy who was the cheap, selling stuff for low prices to try and get people in, that was Burger King. And the whole thing worked together, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a neat idea. Everything made sense according to the theme. I especially liked how the customers went to the restaurant based on price, based on the food selection. That makes sense, and it works well. Greg did an excellent job with this game. I highly recommend you try it out, and then go out and eat a good dinner afterwards.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.